Okay, so a blessed day and welcome to BTC Tutorials. We want to discuss time value of money. Time value of money. And we want to look at an instance whereby you have been given your rate, also known as discount. Your rate, also known as discount. You've also been given your time, also known as the N. So time, and time is years, seconds, minutes, hours, months, and all that have you. And rate is actually in percentage. And then also considering whether the question is asking you to find the present value or whether the question is asking you to find a future value. Okay, so now what comes in mind is that when a question is given, you need to look out for the content of the question. That is what the question contain and what the question is asking of you to compute for. We said that when a question asks you to find present value, it means that you are expecting an amount of money, maybe in a year's time or two, where we would need to actually find the value of the money in that year's time currently. So a friend promises to give you 200 cedis in 3 years' time at a rate of 10%. Now, that 200 cedis is going to be given to you in 3 years' time at that rate. We want to know how much that friend is entitled to give you now. So the 2 years' time is a future value they have given you. And then currently you need to find. So I said your friend wants to give you 200 cedis. So that is the future value in 2 years' time at a rate of 10%. We want to know the value of that 200 cedis currently. It means that we need to find what we call the present value of that 200 cedis. We need to find the value now. Okay, so it means that how much would your friend give you now in case you want your friend to pay you the money? We said that future value is for you to discount. To find present value, you need to discount the future value. And so it is the future value over 1 plus the rate raised to the power, the number of years, n. Okay, so in our question, we know that future value is 200. We know that R1 plus our rate of 10% raised to the power the number of years, 2 years. And this would give you the present value of the 200 cedis. So that tells you that, okay, the 200 cedis that would have been given to you in 2 years' time, you are telling the person to give it to you now. Okay, so that solves the case of present value. How about future value? When we say future value, we are looking at a situation whereby a friend wants to give you 200 cedis now, but you want to know the value of that 200 cedis in 2 years' time so that you might be able to keep it in your investment. So it follows the same routine that says currently your friend is giving you 200 cedis, but you also want to invest it into an investment that will be paying you an interest of 10% for 2 years. So you want to know how much your friend is entitled to give you. So that one, we say we compound the present value. So future value is basically equal to that present value multiplying 1 plus the rate raised to the power the number of years. Now the present value being 200 multiplying 1 plus 10% raised to the power the number of years too. Okay. Now, I made mention that there will be some keywords you need to identify whenever you are looking at this question. When you are asked to find future value, they will ask you how much will, and then if they're asking you to find present value, how much would have been, or would, or should. So if the present value will be using past tense, whereas the future value will be using present tense. So you need to read the question carefully to know what the question is asking of you. So I gave a question in the morning for you to look at it. So from question 62, it says, your great aunt Matilda put some money in an account for you on the day you were born. The account pays 8% interest per year. On your 21st birthday, The account balance was 5033.83. This means that the amount of money your great aunt Matilda originally put in the account is closest to. So quickly, you know that they are asking you to find what we call the present value. Why am I saying present value? Because your auntie saved an amount of money we don't know. So since my auntie saved an amount of money I don't know, they are telling me that when I am 21 years, which is the number of years, at an interest rate of 8%, in the 21st year, we would be finding this amount in our bank account. In the 21st year, we would find this amount of money in our account. So the question is, how much did my auntie save for me when I was giving birth? That means that how much, what was the present value of that future value that has been given you? So quickly, we use the formula present value is equal to the future value over um, 1 plus r raised to the power n. All right. So it will be the 503.83 all divided by 1 plus 8% raised to the power the number of years I have spent on earth, which is the 21 years. Okay. Now this is going to give you what we call 99.99 999.9999997 or so, meaning that when you run it off, you're supposed to get what we call 1,000. So when I was giving birth to, my auntie saved 1,000 cedis for me, 1,000 cedis. So in my possible answers, I'm not finding it there, but the right answer is the 1,000 Ghana cedis. So in case you are giving an of G's, you just can write the 1,000 Ghana cedis on your paper. And then the possible answers, you don't shade, you shade E. You shade E, which means that the answer is not in your question paper. Okay. Now, the next question is a follow-up question on the question 62. It says the amount of money that would be in your account. So this would here necessarily wouldn't be present value because in your account, if you left money there until your 65th birthday, so they are asking you, assuming you are living this 1,000 for 65 years. So there are two ways of going about this question. There are two ways of going about this question. When you were 21 years, okay, when you were 21 years, you had 503.83. Assuming you want to be 61 years, 65 years, how much money would you have in your account? One, you find the difference between, because already when you were 21 years, you know how much is in your account. So what is the difference between 65 and then 65 and 21? There should be 44 years. So you are looking at in 44th year, how much will be in your account? So you are finding the future value. Okay. So future value would be the 503.83 multiplying 1 plus the 8% from the question 62 raised to the power the 44th year. That should give you the 148,780. Or another way to go about this is that when I was giving birth to, how much amount of money was in my account? When I was giving birth to, the amount of money that was in my account was 100,000. So that would have been the present value. And that is what I'll advise you do most because some of you get confused. So basically, it says that when the rate, which is the R, is 8%, The number of years they're asking me to do is 65 years. Now, what is the money that I have? I have calculated that the money my auntie started saving was 1,000 Ghana cedis. It means that at the end of my 65 years, at a rate of 8%, the future value will be equal to, so the 1,000 Ghana cedis, which is the present value, multiplying the 1 plus the 8% raised to the power 65 years. 8% raised to the power 65 years, the entire 65 years, which would give me, I think, 14877. But then, because 780 is the closest, we select 7780 as the final answer for question number 63. 64, I expect you to know how to do it. It says that at an annual interest rate of 7%, the present value of 500 cedis received in 5 years is close to. So this is asking you to do what we call a future value. It's asking you to do what we call a future value. So looking at question number 62, from what we have here, you all can see the solution. It was 999.99. 63, we didn't use the 5033, but rather we used the present value of 1,000 at a rate of 8% for the 65 years, and we had 148,779.74. When I round it off to the nearest whole number, I would have 148,780. That is how come I selected 14870. Okay. Having said that, I was reading question 64, and then question 64 says that you have been given this question with a rate of 7%, a present value of 5,000, and then number of years of 5 years, and they ask you to know your present value. So once you substitute it in the formula, you'll be getting somewhere around 7012.76. And then to the nearest whole number, they said closest. So the one that is immediately close is 7015. I believe this should help and then grant you the better understanding you need. For any further questions, you can send us a message and then we will respond shortly. Do have a great time and enjoy your stay with B2C. Bye bye.